Hello everyone, welcome to Achievers IAS classes. Let's begin a discussion on the current events of 10th July 2018. The first issue in news is regarding the decision of the Supreme Court to live stream the court proceedings. A three-judge bench of the Supreme Court has said that live streaming of court proceedings is only an extension of the open court system where the public can walk in and watch court proceedings. With live streaming, litigants, law students, and public can watch them as they happen, and people from far-flung states such as Tamil Nadu and Kerala do not have to travel all the way to Delhi for just a day's hearing. The government has proposed a dedicated channel like the Rajya Sabha TV and the Lok Sabha TV for the Supreme Court and has said that live streaming would keep a check on lawyers' conduct inside the courtrooms, as there would be fewer interruptions, raised voices, and adjournments from the lawyers because the entire country would be watching them. The Attorney General has, however, expressed reservations about live streaming cases which involve national security concerns, matrimonial disputes, and rape cases because public viewing of marital dispute and rape case related proceedings would seriously affect justice and may amount to violation of the fundamental right to privacy of the persons involved. Such a system has already been put in place in countries like the UK, and it is certainly a step towards increasing transparency and accountability of the judiciary. On that note, let's move on to the next issue, which is regarding the observation made by the Supreme Court that female genital mutilation violates the integrity and bodily privacy of a woman, and such practices on children was an offense under the Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act. The central government also has condemned the practice performed by some communities on children as a religious practice. We have to see this issue in relation to many questions which have been raised in the recent past with respect to rights of the women, be it in the Triple Talaq case, the adultery law, religious freedom of women, and many more in the recent days. Also, given the fact that questions related to women issues are regularly featured in the GS papers as well as in the essay paper, please go through all these issues in totality. The next issue in news is an editorial regarding entrance exams to higher education institutions. In an ideal system, the admission to these higher education courses would be based on the assessment of the aptitude and suitability of the students, and the testing process would be transparent, accessible, and fair. In this regard, the policymakers have previously struggled to create a credible national admission apparatus for professional degree programs which accommodate the diversity and the plurality of the country. The two-level joint entrance examinations for engineering courses and the national eligibility cum entrance test for medical courses are steps in the right direction, but rural students suffer from various handicaps and much work needs to be done to make these examinations more accessible. The setting up of a national testing agency is a progressive move and is also preferable to even the better run state agencies to determine the suitability of a candidate to pursue a particular program. This is because the objective of the aptitude testing in a populous country like India should be to enable mobility and provide access to courses offered in any state. The idea of multiple opportunities to take a test in a single year has now been adopted for the JEE and the NEET examinations, which is in line with similar practices followed by foreign universities. And in fact, even the Ashok Mishra Committee, set up by the Human Resource Development Ministry, had recommended that an online aptitude test be offered to the students for two or more times in a year. Although this is a welcome move, the government should look into some of the issues like a computer based test should not become a barrier for students from the rural backgrounds, and also it should not impose additional expenditure on candidates for preparation as well as traveling to the testing center. In this regard, good planning, allocation of sufficient funds, as well as Regulation of coaching institutes should be done by the government to prevent any exploitation of students. Ultimately, any process of reform at the level of entrance examinations can only be meaningful if the school education system is revamped and the learning outcomes are improved. Well, on that note, let's move on to the next issue, which is regarding the inauguration of Samsung's mobile manufacturing plant, which is said to be the biggest in the world, in Noida. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that the government's Make in India initiative was not just an economic policy, but also a commitment to better ties with friendly nations like South Korea, and he also said that 30% of the phones manufactured in the newly inaugurated plant would be exported. The move comes at a time when companies globally are seeking to grab a share of the exploding superphone market in India, and recently India has overtook the US to become the world's second largest smartphone market only after China. The key point to be noted here is with the number of mobile phone manufacturing factories rising in India, it has created around 4 lakh direct employment opportunities. With that, let's move on to the next issue, which is regarding the recent stance taken by the central government that being a member of parliament is not a full time job and legislators cannot be stopped from practicing law. As you know, recently there was a petition filed with respect to Rule 49 of the Bar Council of India, which mandates that an advocate shall not be a full time salaried employee of a person, government, or any concern because of the conflict of interest involved. To further know the background of the issue, please go back and watch my previous news analysis video, and any future developments will be taken up in the upcoming sessions. On that note, I'm wrapping up today's news analysis. Do share this content if you like it. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.